Hello and welcome to day 2 of Lent. I now have 2 squares filled in my Lenten calendar, and we are heading into day 2 of Lent Thursday. We're on. It's Thursday the 23rd of February, and we are beyond Ash Wednesday now. We're well on the journey, and we are on to chapter 2 in the book of Job on our journey of Job through Lent. You will remember, I'm sure, that yesterday Job was set up as being a really, really good person, someone who was really, really righteous and in a really good relationship with God and never cursed God. And the devil said, well, it's not surprising because you protect him and he has riches and everything he needs. So it's not surprising, really. Take everything away from him and I'm sure he'll be different. So God sort of gave him free rein, and then Job received all of those messengers. You remember the servants came one after the other. Bad news after bad news came, and he lost everything that he had. But still, he tore his clothes and he shaved his head, and he said, well, the Lord gives and the Lord takes away. Blessed be the name of the Lord, he said. That's what it says in some versions. And now we're finding out it because Job didn't curse God and he didn't sin, but we're going to find out what happens next. After Job has lost all of his property and all of his possessions. Let's head into chapter 2 and we'll find out what is going to happen next to Job. So chapter 2 of the book of Job. When the angels gathered around the Lord again, Satan was there with them, and the Lord asked, Satan, where have you been? Satan replied, I have been going all over the earth. Then the Lord asked, what do you think of my servant Job? No one on earth is like him. He is a truly good person who respects me and refuses to do evil. And he hasn't changed, even though you persuaded me to destroy him for no reason. Satan answered, there's no pain like your own. People will do anything to stay alive. Try striking Job's own body with pain, and he will curse you to your face. All right, the Lord replied. Make Job suffer as much as you want, but just don't kill him. Satan left and caused painful sores to break out all over Job's body from head to toe. Then Job sat on the ash heap to show his sorrow. And while he was scraping his sores with a broken piece of pottery, his wife asked, why do you still trust God? Why don't you curse him and die? Job replied, don't talk like a fool. If we accept blessings from God, we must accept trouble as well. In all that happened, Job never once said anything against God. Eliphaz from Teman, Bildad from Shuah, and Zophar from Naamah were 3 of Job's friends, and they heard about his troubles, so they agreed to visit Job and comfort him. When they came near enough to see Job, they could hardly recognize him, and in their great sorrow they tore their clothes, then sprinkled dust on their heads and cried bitterly. For 7 days and nights they sat silently on the ground beside him, because they realized what terrible pain he was in. And that's the end of chapter 2. Interesting things in that chapter. So Job is really in a bad way because of the property that he's lost and his children and his family. He's just got his wife left, although she's not much of a comfort later in the chapter, is she? But God meets with the angels again, and Satan is there, and God says, well, don't you think Job is really good because he's really righteous, and even though you took all his property away, I let that happen. Although the devil makes it sound like it was God who took his property away, but it was the devil who did it, and God didn't do it, but he allowed it to happen. And the devil says, well, yeah, I know, but it's only his property, really. If you strike him, if his body himself and he starts to be in pain, then he will start to curse you. And so God says, well, you can do that too. So again, it's not the God who does this, but it's the devil who makes Job have sores from head to foot, and he is in absolute agony. And he goes and sits on the ashes, and he goes and scrapes his sores with bits of broken pottery. My goodness. And then his wife comes up and says, why do you not just curse God? Why don't you just curse him and die? And Job says, why? Because God gives us blessings. Why can we not accept curses as well, bad things that happen, in the same way that we accept good things that happen from God? God is good, he says, and God can do that. God has the right to give, the right to take away, the right to bless, and the right to put us in difficulties as well, even though it's not him who's done that, in a sense. And then there's these three people that we will call Job's comforters, and they will come along and they will try and make him feel better. Eliphaz, Bildad, and Zophar are going to come. I wonder if they'll make things better or worse. Let's see what happens over the next days. But that's chapter 2 today. Chapter 2, day 2 of Lent is on its way, and we wish you all the very, very best. Have a good Thursday, and then join me tomorrow for chapter 3 of the book of Job, our journey through Job in Lent, and we'll find out what happens next. All the very best. Have a good day. God bless. Bye-bye.